Hi everyone, Happy New Year, welcome to 2022. I just wanted to share a short, free little level 1 vinyasa practice with everyone. So in order to start, if you need blocks, grab your blocks. You can also use books, maybe a blanket or a cushion to sit on, and we'll begin. So finding a comfortable seated position. Finding your sits bones, grounding into whatever you're seated on. I'm seated on a blanket right now. You want your hips to be higher than your knees. My hips are pretty tight. So sitting on this blanket, especially when I'm not quite warmed up, is really important. And then begin to close your eyes, sinking down into those sits bones. Begin to stack the spine, rolling the shoulders up, back, and down, away from the ears. And then when you're ready, close your eyes. We'll just take these first few moments to settle in. Noticing the natural rhythm of your breath. Your prana, your life force. And then begin to deepen your breath. Lengthening the inhales and the exhales. We'll do a quick little pranayama or breath practice. You can keep your hands where they are, or you can bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your chest, just so you can feel it better. On your next inhale, we're going to start at the bottom of the belly. Inhale, filling up the belly, expanding, then moving up as you fill up into the ribs. And then finally, lifting the chest as you fill all the way up. And then as you exhale, go in reverse. Your chest drops, your rib cage contracts, your belly draws in. And continue with this. This is a 3-part yogic breath. Inhaling belly, ribs, chest, and exhale, chest, ribs, belly. One more. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest, and exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Coming back to your natural breath, release your hands down if you had them on your heart and tummy. And then just take these next few moments to set an intention for our practice. Maybe an intention for the new year, maybe something more personal. And then let go of all of the other thoughts going on in your head, to-do lists, whatever it may be. Just let it go for this time on your mat. And we'll quickly begin to move. So if you're seated on anything, remove it and set it off to the side. We're going to just do a little bit of back movement. So inhale, reach your arms to the sky. Exhale, drop your left hand to the floor and lean over, supporting yourself with your left hand. Stack your right shoulder over your left. Keep your right hip grounded. Feel the stretch along the right side of the body. Inhale, coming back to center. Reach both fingers to the sky. Exhale to the other side. Right hand to the ground. Left hand reaches. Inhale, back up, and then we're going to twist. Exhale, twist to the left. Right hand to the top of the knee, left hand behind you. Lifting your heart into this gentle twist. Gazing over the left shoulder. Inhale, release, fingers to the sky. And exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, back to center. And then exhale, we're going to fold forward. Reaching your hands out in front of you, you can release all the way down, depending on where your flexibility is. Maybe you can bend the elbows and supporting yourself a little bit here, but just feeling a deep stretch in the hips and the low back here. Inhale, come back to seated. Grabbing each ankle, cross your legs in the opposite way. Inhale, sweep your arms to the sky, and exhale, fold forward. Noticing there's a difference, most people have a different side to side. It's not a big deal, totally normal. Just depends on our dominant side, the side we use the most. But just noticing, this is my tighter side. Inhaling, coming back up to seated. From here, we're going to find our way to all fours. So you can either sweep your legs beside you, you can roll over your knees. However you get there, find your ways to hands and knees. Shoulders stacked over wrists, fingers spread wide, hips stacked over knees. We're going to come into cat and cow. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, drop your head and your tail as you round your spine, separating your shoulder blades in cat. Inhale, coming through center. Belly and heart drop as the head and tail tip towards the sky in cow. Keep moving with your breath through cat and cow a few more times. One more round of breath here. Coming back to neutral. Bring your toes together, your big toes together to touch. Spread your knees wide to the edge of your mat. And as you exhale, drop your hips back onto your heels, extending your arms on the mat until you can rest your head on the mat. In child's pose or wide leg child's pose. So the belly and the heart are melting towards the mat, between the knees and the thighs. Tail is softening towards the heels, arms extended, resting your forehead, the place of your third eye on the mat. You can rock your head side to side, rolling across the front of your forehead. Your next inhale, begin to lift back up into all fours. I'm going to set up for our downward facing dog, so fingers spread wide. Place the fingertips or the pads of your fingers down first, pointer in middle towards the front of the room, and then set the palm down. Gripping into your mat like you're gripping a ball. Same thing on the left side, hands directly underneath the shoulders. Curl your toes under. Inhale. And on the exhale, lift your hips up to the sky and push back into your first downward facing dog. From here, we're going to bend into one knee as we push the opposite heel towards the mat, pedaling out the feet. Stretching through the calves, through the back of the knee, through the ankle and the feet. And then pushing both feet down to the mat, finding stillness in our first downward facing dog. Heels pushing towards the earth, tail reaching towards the sky, heart reaching towards the top of the thighs. Gaze should be just at a point between your feet here. So the head is hanging in a long extension from the neck all the way through the spine. Hands are pushing just as much into the mat as the feet, as if you want to rip the top half of the mat away from the bottom in downward facing dog. On your next exhale, slowly walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Bringing your feet hip width apart. So it's about 2 fist distance. Bending your knees a lot and then allowing your chest to rest over the top of your legs, letting your head and arms hang in ragdoll. You can shake your head, yes and no. Then slowly begin to straighten your legs, relaxing into our first forward fold. You can keep a micro bend in the knees here. Our hamstrings are pretty cold still, so we don't want to force this too much. Heel toe, your feet back together. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Inhale, come to a halfway lift. Hands can be on the shins just below the knees. Maybe with more flexibility, a little bit lower. We want our shoulder blades pulled together, back is flat, head extending from the spine. Exhale, forward fold and hang. Inhale, arms sweep wide as you hinge the hips. Come all the way to stand, reach your fingers to the sky. And exhale, hands come through to heart center. Standing in Tadasana, our mountain pose. So we'll warm up through some sun salutations. We'll get moving. Inhale, arms sweep to the sky. Exhale, palms together through heart center as you dive over your legs and forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, bend your knees so you can plant your hands flat. Step one foot and then the other back to plank. So a long straight line from your heels to the crown of the head. We don't want to dip and we don't want to raise here. We want to be nice and strong through the core, pushing into our hands. We're going to inhale here. Exhale, drop your knees and then lower your elbows. Stay glued to the sides of your ribs. Knees, chest, chin. And exhale, release. Release the top of your feet down to the mat. Hands stay where they are. And on the next inhale, we're going to come into Cobra. Using a little bit of pressure in our hands, but mostly in our back. Lift the heart. Slide the shoulder blades down the back. Lift the head. We don't want to jet the chin out. We want the head to be a long extension of the spine. Exhale, release. Push back to your knees. Curl your toes under. Downward facing dog. Inhale. And exhale. Walk your feet to the front of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep all the way to stand. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms reach to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands and step back into plank. I'm going to add a challenge if you want to. Inhale, shifting forward. You can drop your knees here for knees, chest, chin, or if you want to try chaturanga, stay up on your toes and exhale, lower halfway down. Inhale, lower your belly all the way to the ground and lift into Cobra. Using the muscles of your spine, exhale, curl your toes under and push back to downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right leg high to the sky. Keep your right hip from lifting. We don't want to open. We want to keep the right hip in line with the left. So long, straight line here. Exhale, bend the knee under the body. Bring it all the way forward. If you don't get it all the way forward, you can use your hand to bring your ankle under your knee. You want your ankle under your knee. Dropping your left knee. Inhale, rise into low lunge. Hands can be on the knee, or you can reach them to the sky. Exhale, hands come down to frame the foot. Inhale, bring the right foot back to meet the left, shifting forward. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale, push back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg high. Keep the left hip right in line with the right. We don't want to open it. We want to keep it in line. Exhale, bend the leg, bring it forward. Using your hands if you need, knees stacked over your ankle. Drop your right knee and inhale, rise into low lunge. Lifting your heart nice and strong in this position. One more inhale and exhale, hands come down to frame the foot. Inhale, left comes back to meet the right, shifting forward. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or Cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, bring your feet together, coming up onto your toes. Exhale, take some baby steps all the way forward to the front of your mat and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms sweep wide, come to stand, reaching towards the sky. And exhale, hands to heart center. One more round in a modified Sun Salutation. Use what works for you. I've got given some options. Inhale, arms to the sky. We're building heat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back into plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high to the sky. Move with the breath. Exhale, right foot comes forward. You can drop your knee here like we did last time, or you can keep your knee lifted. Inhale into high lunge or low lunge. Stay here for a breath. One more inhale. And exhale, hands come down to frame the foot. Inhale, right comes back to meet the left, shifting forward. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high to the sky. Exhale, bring your left foot forward. Dropping your knee or keeping your knee lifted for extra challenge. Inhale, low or high lunge. Stay here for a breath. And exhale, hands come down to frame the foot. Inhale, left comes back to meet the right, shifting forward. Exhale, lower halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Stay here and breathe. Keeping your breath slow, steady, and full. Feeling the heat that we just built in our body. On your next exhale, slowly walk your feet to the front of your mat in forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms sweep wide as you come to stand in tall mountain. And exhale, palms together to heart center. Closing your eyes just for a moment. Grounding down through your feet, noticing the heat we just built. And then we'll move on. Inhale, arms sweep to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands and step back into plank. And then just shift back into downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right leg high to the sky. Exhale, bring your right foot forward under the body and place it in between your hands. We're going to set up for Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Drop your left heel. Look down at your feet. Make sure if you drew a line from your right heel, it would bisect the arch of your left foot. And from then, cartwheel your arms up. Pushing into the outer edge of your left foot, making sure your right knee is stacked over your right ankle, dropping your tail straight down. Arms extend parallel with the floor, and then gaze over your right fingertips. Strong warrior. Make sure if you look down, you can see the big toe on your right foot. The knee isn't falling in, it's pushing out. You can always do these things physically, and it kind of gives your body a little awareness. Warrior 2. On your next inhale, leave your right knee and your legs the way they are. Drop your left hand to your side And reach your right hand up and over. Reverse warrior. Stretching all the way through that right side and the back of the right arm. Reversing. Inhale. And exhale. Bring your right elbow to your right knee. Keep that deep bend here. Don't dump into the knee, but set it there. So stay strong using your core to lift your body up. Inhale, sweep your arm in front of you and then up to create that long line from your left foot to your left fingertips. Shoulders are stacked, so you're pulling your left shoulder back and gazing up underneath your left armpit. Extended side angle. Inhale. And exhale, cartwheel your hands down, framing the right foot. Inhale, right comes back to meet the left. Coming through your vinyasa. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Same thing on the left side. Inhale, left leg high to the sky. Exhale, knee comes to chest. Bring that left foot all the way forward. Whenever you're bringing it forward, it just depends on our anatomy. My legs are long. I can't really get it forward without help. So however you get it there, the alignment's more important. So bringing that left foot to the center of the mat, drop your right heel. Make sure you have that line from your heel to your arch, and then leading with the right hand, cartwheel up. Checking in with your alignment, pushing the energy into the outer edge of your right foot. Heel is dropping straight down. Look at both arms. Make sure they're parallel with the floor. There is a tendency for your right arm to drop. And gaze is soft just beyond the left fingertips. Warrior two. Dropping your right hand to your thigh. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Keep the deep bend in the left knee. Make sure you're not lifting up to stretch. You want to stay low in the leg and reach through the arm. Reverse warrior. Inhale. And exhale, extended side angle. So the elbow comes to the knee. Inhale, sweep the arm in front of you. And then that long straight line from your right heel to your right fingertips, gazing up underneath your right armpit. Extended side angle. Inhale and exhale. Bring your hands down to frame the left foot. Inhale, left comes back to meet the right. Choosing a vinyasa, or you can always push back into downward facing dog and wait for us. So the vinyasa is just going to give you more work, build more heat, but listen to your body. Listen to where you are today and what your body needs. So we're going to inhale, lift our right leg high to the sky. Exhale, bring your right foot forward between the hands again. Dropping, or actually keeping your left knee up. We're going to inhale, come to high lunge. Hands can start on the thigh. So make sure your left knee is stacked over your left ankle. Reaching through your left heel, lift tall. Staying here for level one, or you can reach your hands high to the sky. Keep lifting the left knee away from the mat. And then just a little playful one to open the heart more. You can make goalposts with your arms. This really, pull your shoulder blades towards each other. Heart lifts towards the sky. Inhale. And exhale. On your next exhale, bring your hands down and lower your left knee. Release the top of the foot. Some people keep their toes under. I have very sensitive kneecaps, so I release my foot and I have a little bit more, the pressure changes in the pressure point. When you're ready, lift up into our low lunge. Hands come to the thigh and then come to the center of our heart. We're going to inhale, extend our body forward, keep our legs in the same position, and then exhale, twist, trying to hook the outside of the left elbow to the outside of the right knee, and gaze up over the right shoulder. Keep lengthening into the twist. Inhale And exhale, hands come down to frame the foot. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, shift back, straightening that right leg. We're going to come into half Hanuman or half splits. So the hips need to stay square. Right toes pull back towards the shins. We don't want to just round down here. We want to reach forward. Left hip shifts forward. Right hip pulls back like you're dragging your right heel back towards your left knee. You can feel that deep stretch in the back side of the hamstring on the right side. And breathe. On your next exhale, bend into the right knee, bringing your hands forward. Curl your left toes under. Inhale, right comes back to meet the left. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, Cobra, or you can roll into up dog, which is always an option. I just haven't given it yet. Exhale, downward facing dog. Same thing on the left side. Inhale, left leg high to the sky. Exhale, left knee comes forward, or left foot comes forward. We're going to come into high lunge. So make sure your feet are train track. Again, not one right in front of the other. Knee stacked over ankle. And inhale to rise. Hands come to the thigh. Reaching back through the right foot. Straight through that right leg. Lift the right knee away from the mat. Staying here. Or hands to heart center. Staying here. Arms to the sky. Or opening the heart. Staying here and breathing. Inhale. And exhale, hands come down to the floor. Dropping your right knee, release the top of the foot, or you can keep your toes curled under. And then coming into that low lunge, hands come to the top of the thigh. Feeling that stretch in the front of the right hip. Bring hands to heart center. Inhale, hinge forward, reaching forward, and then exhale, twist till the elbow can come outside of the left knee. Looking over the left shoulder. And release the twist, bringing the hands down to the floor. Inhale, and on the exhale, shift back, pulling the left toes back towards the shin. Again, left hip pulls back, right hip shifts forward, and reach the heart forward. I am not super stretchy in my hamstrings, and you don't want to overstretch here because you can hurt yourself. Just slow. We warmed up enough that we can get a good stretch right now. We just don't want to push it ever. So listen to your body. One more round of breath. And then on your exhale, slowly bend into that left knee. Framing your foot with your hands. Curl your right toes under. Inhale, left comes back to meet the right. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Up dog, which I didn't say before and I should have. Knees are lifted, legs engaged. It's the top of the feet and the hands. Exhale, downward facing dog. So I'm just adding all these options. Take it or leave it. You don't have to take it. Just adding little levels of challenge to a level 1 class. Stay here and breathe. Still your gaze. Your next inhale, bring your feet together. Coming up onto your tiptoes. And exhale, walk your feet forward to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms sweep wide as you come all the way to stand in tall mountain. And exhale, hands come to heart center. We'll move into our standing balances. So I'll talk through the standing balances. I'll face you. So we're going to start feet hip width apart. So if you're thinking of anatomically our bones hip width or 6 inches, 2 fist widths apart. Lifting your toes, hands come to heart center. Rock your feet side to side. Finding your weight evenly distributed through all four corners of your feet, setting your toes down one at a time, trying to make space between each toe. So you're growing that base. And then begin to slow your breath. The next point is drawing your belly in, your Uddiyana Bandha. It's our core. So the belly button draws towards the spine, and keep that engagement here for balance. Next is our Drishti. So finding a focal point, I like to start 6 to 10 feet in front of me on the ground. In front of me, find something not moving. It may be more comfortable for you to look straight forward at something not moving. But make sure you're not looking at like the trees outside, because if they're moving, you're gonna move and fall. So something that's still, I sometimes look at imperfection in the floor or the wall. So find that drishti or that focal point. And then lastly, remember to breathe. So we don't want to hold our breath. Sometimes we do it without thinking. So just consciously remember to breathe. Shift your weight into your left foot. Level 1, you can lift your right heel, rotate it in to rest on the inside of your ankle or shin area. Level 2, the foot can come off the floor under the knee, never on the knee. We don't want to put pressure on the outside edge of our knee. Level 3, reach your right hand down to bring your foot up into your inner thigh. Well, balance isn't that great today. Balance changes every day, so you can gain balance with practice, but it will always fluctuate due to a lot of things in our life. Stay here, find that, keep that drishti, keep that breath. And then push the mat, push the earth, push the floor away from you instead of sinking down into it. Feel like you're growing taller towards the ceiling. Stay here in balance. Whoa. Balance is off today. I always start on the left foot. The majority of us are right-handed, which means we're right-sided. So dominantly, we do better on our right side of standing balance. So I tend to, when I teach in groups, teach starting on our left side, so we end with success. It's not always work that way. So let's stay here for 3, 2, 1. Release the right foot down. Give it a little shake. And then spread your knees wide. We'll take a break in that for a minute. Feet can be parallel with the front and the back of your mat, or you can let your heels swing out just a little bit wider, so you're slightly pigeon-toed. We're going to come into a wide leg forward fold or prasarita. Inhale, arms sweep to the sky. Exhale, fold forward, just hinging at the hips. Hands come down, and then let the head hang. Let the whole upper body hang. Play with shifting your weight front and back on your feet. And then find that place where there's just a little bit more weight in the front of your foot than your back of your foot. This brings us into alignment. I'll show you from the side what I'm talking about. So as I fold, if my weight is centered and I'm in my heels, I'm not stacked here. I'm shifted at an angle. So as we come forward, it's going to make the hinge in my hips a little bit deeper, and this will stack perpendicular to the floor. That's what we want in Prasarita. You can leave your hands underneath your shoulders, or you can reach them between your legs. You can bind, whatever feels good here. On your next inhale, hands underneath the shoulders. Come to a halfway lift. Bend your knees, bring your hands to your hips, and exhale, push up to standing. From here, we're going to come into Goddess. So rotate your heels inward, your toes outward. Kind of if you start bending your knees, you want your toes at the same angle as your knees will bend. So Goddess is a Yogi Squat. We're gonna, instead of kicking the tail back, we're gonna try to drop our tail straight down, like we're keeping our spine against a wall as we slide down it. So that's gonna take pulling our belly in, tucking our tail, a lot of strength in our legs. So we're gonna bring our hands to heart center, inhale and exhale, slowly lower, sliding down that wall, that imaginary wall, and stay here and breathe. This is one of those postures that's really hard for me, so I don't like doing it, but those are some of the best postures. That's our body saying that we need to do it more. We'll stay here for 3, 2, 1. And straighten the legs. Slowly heel toe your feet back to center, giving them a little shake, and then we'll move to our last side for tree. So feet hip width apart, grounding down into both feet, hands at heart center, find your drishti. Find your breath, shift your weight into your right foot, and when you're ready, on your own time, find the option that's ready for you, or that's good for you, that you took on the other side. So level 1, level 2, or level 3. Keep breathing. When you're first beginning yoga, I know it was hard for me to remember to breathe. I still tend to hold my breath in other activities that I do outside of yoga. When I'm working at something, I hold my breath. But I'm trying to bring the practice of breathing in to the work, into the exertion, into the rest of my life. Because I've worked so much and for so many years at yoga, I remember to breathe most of the time. But in other areas of my life, I don't. And that's where we want to take our practice off the mat into the rest of our life. In so many ways, that's just one. We'll stay here for 3, 2, 1, release. Shake it out. And then we're gonna come back to the front of our mat. If you're probably already there. Bring our feet wide to the edge of our mat. The wider it is, the easier it is. If this is new to you, we're gonna come into Malasa. It is a Yogi Squat, so we're gonna come all the way down. If you feel like you may need some assistance, you don't have strong legs or bad knees, you can use a block, and these blocks can be any height. So I'll just show you how it will help. Put it there and you can move it on the way down. So for Malasana, the wider the feet, the easier. Toes angle slightly out. We're going to slowly lower down all the way. This is where the mat comes in handy, or the block. If you need a block, you can put it under your sits bones. So the feet stay wide. We want to try to keep the feet flat. Elbows come into the inside of the knees, and then hands push to heart center. And you can feel them push your knees open, lifting the heart, opening the shoulders. Malasana. If you're not using a block, it's the same. You don't have that support. So trying to lower or drop the tail, lift the head, and breathe. Another really good hip opener, inner thigh, and bringing some strength to the knees. Releasing your hands, bringing them behind you, removing the block if it's there, and then slowly lowering your way back down onto your seat. Finding those sits bones and finding a place where you can sit tall through your spine. If your knees are too close to you, you're going to round and you're going to really try to stay straight. We want to find this spine lengthening alignment first. So we're going to come into boat. This is all core work, and I'm going to show you a lot of options, and they're really important. The alignment is the most important. So from here, you find your sits bones, spine is lifted. Roll your shoulders up and back. They stay there. Spine stays flat. And then draw your belly button to your spine and keep it there. This all stays solid. As long as it stays solid, you can add challenge to this posture. If you see any change, like your back rounds, your shoulders come forward, or sometimes we see the belly pop, that means overexertion and we lose the engagement of our transverse abdominis or our core muscle. That's what we don't want. It also risks our lower back for injury. So spine stacked and straight, shoulders open, belly in. Inhale, push into your hands, finding even more length. Exhale, just hinge back. So if that is enough, stay here. Your hands can stay here for support. They can come behind you for support. You can bring them to your knees for support. If everything is stable and you want to add a challenge, you can lift your hands up. You can bring your hands down and lift your feet up. You can lift your hands up and stay here, or you can be here. This is a really good place because you can find that balance too, but you have the support to keep the alignment. Keep breathing. If your feet are lifted, bring the toes back towards the shins. Belly stays in 3. Lifting the heart 2. And exhale 1. Drop the feet if they're lifted. Feet come together to touch, making a diamond with your legs. Knees falling open. Inhale and exhale. Fold forward, wrapping one hand and then the other around the front of your toes. Take an inhale, lift, reach the heart towards the feet, and exhale, bend the elbows out to each side as you pull your heart forward. So we don't want to be here. We want to be here. So I'm just a gentle pull, and if you want to just relax into this, you can too. I just feel a nice opening in the low back here, and your low back can take over if you're really pushing too hard in boat. Releasing here, bringing the knees back up towards the sky. We'll do a little Pilates maneuver to counteract that boat posture, but more core work. Bring your arms out in front of you, roll your shoulders up, back and down, keep them there. Belly draws in again. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, start by rounding the back, creating a C curve and hollowing out the belly. And then continue to exhale as you drop one vertebra at a time, slowly and with control, all the way down until your head and shoulders come down. Then release the arms. Bend the knees even more, bringing the soles of the feet closer to your tail, making sure that you can just touch the back of your heels with your fingertips. Open your palms to the sky. Keep your gaze at one spot on the ceiling. We're going to come into bridge. Inhale, and on the exhale, lift the tail, engaging the glutes, engaging the hamstrings. Imagine you're holding a beach ball in between your knees. So squeeze that ball. We don't need to touch our knees, but we don't want them to splay open. Another trick here to make sure your knees are not splaying open is to lift our toes. Keep squeezing the glutes, lift the hips higher. 3, 2, inhale, come up onto the balls of the feet, and exhale, starting at the shoulders, slow and with control, roll through the spine, one vertebra at a time. Releasing the heels down, bring the feet wider than they are, and then let the knees fall side to side like windshield wipers, just to release that little back bend. We're going to come into a supine pigeon, another hip opener, slowing down our practice. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Let the right knee fall open. Level 1, you're going to lift the legs, extend the left knee, and reach around the left hamstring, pulling the legs towards the body. Try to keep the sacrum and the tail on the mat. We don't want to round up and lift here, so only go as far as you can. If you want more, you can bend the left knee and reach around the front of the shin. Keep the right toes drawing back towards the shin. You can use your right elbow to push the right knee away from you to even deepen the stretch further. And breathe into the hip. Really concentrating on bringing the inhales into the edge of that tension in the hip and the outer glute. And then as you exhale, maybe softening it just a little bit each time, gently and safely. Releasing your legs, bringing your feet, both feet back down to the mat, switching sides. Left ankle over right, and lifting the legs, wrapping around the hamstring or the front of the shin, drawing your toes back towards your shin, feeling that stretch. We also hold a lot of our negative emotions in our hips. So when we do these hip openers, it can be uncomfortable. We never want to push to pain, but being uncomfortable isn't always a bad thing. My hips are very tight, so any hip openers have always been a struggle for me, but they have also brought me the most benefit in my practice. It's helped my mobility. So noticing if any emotions bubble up here, if you get angry, annoyed, sad, it's natural. Breathing through it, breathing into it, and releasing it. Your next exhale, release the legs, bringing both legs up to tabletop. Open your knees wide, wider than your chest, and then wrapping your fingers. You either take your peace fingers around your big toes or fingers wrap around the outside edge of your feet. Bringing your tail back down to the ground, pull on your feet into happy baby. So the knees are coming towards the floor outside of the chest. And we want to lengthen our entire spine back onto the mat. If you're new at this and we're lifted here, just work on lengthening the spine here. If your spine is lengthened, your back is totally flat on the floor, you can find a little massage, rocking side to side and happy baby. I love this at the end of practice. It feels so good. And release the feet, bringing them back to tabletop. Open your arms like wings, palms open to the sky. Inhale, and on the exhale, let the knees fall to the left. Keeping your right shoulder grounded into the mat. So if your knees don't come all the way down, make sure that your right shoulder stays down here. Doesn't matter here. And then bring your gaze to your right hand, twisting through the entire spine from the tailbone to the crown of the head. You can stay here with the arms open, or you can bring the left hand to the right knee and deepen the twist as long as the shoulder stays down. Twists are really good for detoxing. We're squeezing out the body, wringing out the internal organs. Your next exhale, bring your knees back to center. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take the knees to the right. Left shoulder stays down. Gaze over at the left hand. Noticing how the breath can change these twisting postures. How with each exhale, it feels as if you are sinking deeper into the twist. Your next exhale, knees come back to center. And then extending our legs for our final resting posture in Savasana. Legs are long, feet mat width apart, let them fall open, relaxed and natural. Arms spaced away from the body, palms open to the sky. And then relax the entire body. I urge you not to leave early from the practice. I urge you to stay through Savasana. You can stay even longer than my guided Savasana. It is just important as any other part of our practice or asana. It's a time for integration, and it's also a time that we take to pause in between our practice, in between the work, and before whatever comes next in our day. So just take this few moments at the end of each practice to give your body and your practice this beneficial time. Keeping your eyes closed, releasing Ujjayi breath, if that is part of your practice. And then just noticing your breath, letting go of any thoughts. If you do attach to any thoughts, just let it go. You can pause the video here to stay, or I'll begin to move us out and on with our day. And again, I suggest you stay for longer for the most benefits from your practice. If you're coming out, slowly begin to bring your awareness back into your body, wiggling your fingers and toes, circling your wrists and ankles. Your next inhale, extend your arms overhead, reaching from your fingertips to your toes, the longest stretch you've done yet today. And as you exhale, hug your knees tight into your chest. You can keep your head on the mat, or you can bring your forehead up towards your knees. And then carefully roll to one side into a fetal position just for a moment. Taking this moment to reconnect with your intention that you set at the beginning of the practice. And keeping your eyes closed, slowly find your way up to a comfortable seated position. And we'll take our last unified breath to close out our practice. On your next inhale, sweep your arms wide. As you fill your lungs with oxygen, bringing your hands up together to meet. Exhale, bring your hands to your third eye. I hope for you to see clearly, hands to your throat, speak peacefully, hands to your heart center, and love freely. Om Tat Sat. Namaste. Thank you everyone for joining me. Stay tuned for more videos and more offerings that are coming soon. Thank you and Happy New Year.